Chapter 72. End. Not good. Little friend, be careful. At the same time, the two men's bodies moved and rushed towards Rek. The spirit weapon in their hands also emitted a bright light, accumulating the energy to release the spirit weapon's monarch skill. The two of them were already very far away from Rek, and their speed was completely suppressed by Rek. Although they kept roaring, they could only watch Rek getting closer and closer to Xiaoyan. Qin Fei and Lian Yunya, who were not far away, were blocked by the crowd. When Lian Yunhai and Qin Wei roared, they discovered that Rek was rushing towards the defenseless Xiaoyan. Immediately, their faces turned pale, and cold sweat trickled down their bodies. Xiaoyan, who was carefully experiencing the way the three of them fought just now, could not help but relax his vigilance towards the outside world. When Qin Wei let out his roar, he regained his senses. The first thing he saw when he regained his senses was Rek, who was only a few feet away from him. Lightning flashed in Rek's hand. At such a close distance, Xiaoyan could even hear the slight buzzing sound of the lightning. Wah! There was no time to think. Almost instinctively, the flames within Xiaoyan's body began to surge. 3,000 lightning monarch flames had already gathered in his palm. The Chaos Great Monarch Flame's Monarch Fire skill, Fire Wheel Dao, was also instantly activated. The moment Rek's 5 claws touched Xiaoyan's clothes, Xiaoyan raised both of his hands in a lightning-like manner. At the same time, his strength suddenly soared. When his hands, which were wrapped by the 3,000 lightning monarch flames, firmly blocked Rek's palm, Xiaoyan's strength had also reached its peak. Bang! The silver lightning and the golden flame suddenly collided. In an instant, the lightning arcs flew in all directions, and red flames splashed everywhere. When Rek realized that his powerful attack was forcefully blocked by a two-path sovereign, he was immediately shocked. What surprised him even more was that the originally full lightning attribute Origin Monarch key in his hand had touched Xiaoyan's golden flame. He felt as if the violent lightning was being absorbed by him. 3,000 lightning monarch flames, it's actually so strange. No, that's not right, this kid's strength. Rek recovered from his initial shock. He was shocked once again when he felt Xiaoyan's current strength. It was actually 6 Dao Sovereign Master. Xiaoyan didn't dare to be careless in the face of his strongest opponent. Apart from the blue flame ruler that he didn't have time to take out, he had used all of his trump cards. 3,000 lightning monarch flames were gathered in his hands, blocking Rek's attack. The Chaos Great Monarch flame kept moving in the meridians of his arms, offsetting the hidden force of Rek's attack. The Chaos Great Monarch flame's Monarch Fire skill, the Wheel of Fire Dao, was also completely used. It used all of its strength to defend against Rek's attack. After all, Rek had been stuck in the peak of Monarch Spirit for a few years. Although he was puzzled by Xiaoyan's sudden increase in strength, he didn't hesitate at all. When he saw that his attack was blocked, his heart began to spin. A large number of Origin Monarch Ki surged out from his body, instantly forming visible lightning arcs on his arms. Lightning King Arm. With a low roar, the veins on Rek's arms bulged, and they emitted dazzling silver lightning arcs. After that, he threw them at Xiaoyan. Not good. When he saw that Rek didn't care about Lian Yunhai and Qin Wei's furious attack and used the high-grade Monarch spell Lightning King Arm on him, Xiaoyan immediately felt as if his entire body had been locked down by the aura of the Lightning King Arm. The aura of a peak of Monarch Spirit caused his movements to become somewhat stiff. Prestige Power Spell. Looking at the descending arms, Xiaoyan maintained his calm. The moment Rek used the Lightning King Arm, Xiaoyan's outstanding combat instinct immediately sensed the danger. Immediately, 3,000 lightning monarch flames turned into a wall of fire and stood in front of him. After that, a gust of wind blew under his feet, and the 9 revolving wind rotation was instantly unleashed. Boom! Rek's arms passed through Xiaoyan's body. The latter's body trembled and disappeared. Rek, who did not have the time to recover his strength, violently struck the ground where Xiaoyan had just stood. The ground immediately turned into rubble and dust flew into the air. Rek violently smashed Xiaoyan into a stone cave that was several feet in size. Xiaoyan, who had barely dodged Rek's attack with his 9-wind rotation, saw the stone cave on the ground. He let out a sigh of relief. Although Rek's peak of Monarch Spirit Ki suppression did not work on him, his powerful strength and the powerful power of the high-grade Monarch spell still frightened Xiaoyan. A monarch spirit level warrior was indeed not someone a puny sovereign like Lei Te could compare with. The short exchange with Rek had given Xiao Yan a rough understanding of the strength of a monarch spirit warrior. With his current strength, he could fight a monarch spirit warrior head-on. Even if he used all his trump cards, he could only run for his life. Of course, if he had enough time to fuse with the Buddha Fury Fire Lotus, that would be a different matter altogether. After all, the ultimate move of using the Monarch Flame was much stronger than an ordinary Monarch spell. Rek's face turned a little ashen before his attack hit its target. Behind him, the attack of Yunhai and Qin Wei was right in front of him. It was impossible for him to turn around and defend himself. Rek cursed in his heart. After that, he could only helplessly gather the Origin Monarch key behind his back to form a defensive barrier. Boom! Boom! Quote. The Fire Spirit Spear and the Jade Spirit Sword Spirit Weapon Monarch skill carried the force of 10,000 units and fiercely struck Rek's back. The hastily formed defense was like a piece of paper, and it was broken through in an instant. Then, under the shocked gazes of everyone present, they mercilessly struck Rek's already injured back. Puff! After receiving such a heavy blow, Rek finally spat out a mouthful of blood. After which, like a kite with a broken string, his body fell forward uncontrollably. Before Lien Yunhai and Qin Wei could exhale, they saw Rek's body tremble and regained its balance. However, this strike had also brought Rek and Xiao Yan closer to each other. Bastard! Rek roared in his heart. Due to the pain, his white beard trembled. The flames of anger in his turbid eyes became even stronger. Ever since he left the Lei clan and came to desolate border city, with his peak of monarch spirit strength, he had never suffered such humiliation. When he saw Xiao Yan who was almost in front of him, Rek was burning with anger. The flames of anger had almost buried his rationality. Bastard! Go to hell! With a furious roar, Rek used his remaining strength to reveal lightning on both of his hands. The silver lightning arcs pierced into everyone's eyes and struck towards Xiao Yan's chest with a thunderous force. It's over. When Lien Yunhai and Qin Wei saw this scene, this thought instantly flashed across their minds. The two of them were too far away from each other. Even if they wanted to save Xiao Yan, it would be too late. Although this little guy's strength is outstanding, he still isn't steady enough. In the nick of time, this thought instantly flashed across Qin Wei's mind. Looking at Rek who was right in front of him, it was obviously too late for him to attack again. His mind was racing. Xiao Yan steeled his heart. The true monarch stage soul, which had been tempered by the prestige power spell for a long time, lunged at the menacing Rek. Rek was caught off guard. He never thought that Xiao Yan, who had lost all ability to resist, would launch a soul attack. His expression froze, and his head buzzed. It was as if he had been struck by lightning. His body trembled, and his body, which was charging forward, suddenly stopped. Under everyone's astonished gazes, Xiao Yan raised his right hand high and suddenly swung it down. In the middle of the swing, a golden ruler suddenly appeared. The moment before the ruler hit Rek's body, a red flame suddenly emerged on the surface of the ruler, and then it violently slapped down in front of everyone's disbelieving eyes. Caw! The sound of bones breaking seemed to have shattered in everyone's hearts. Rek suffered such a heavy blow. Immediately, blood spurted out crazily. His body flew backwards like a cannonball, and blood kept flowing along the way. Qin Wei, who was the first to recover from the shock, suddenly shook the Fire Spirit Spear in his hand. He used all the strength in his body to stab at Rek, who was flying towards him. In the next moment, the Fire Spirit Spear ruthlessly pierced through Rek's chest. The spearhead, which was dyed red with blood, pierced through his chest. Rek did not even have the chance to cry out before he died. Hiss! After a long time, the sound of the surrounding people breathing could be heard. The process just now was tedious, but it happened in an instant. In everyone's eyes, Rek's hand was about to pierce through Xiao Yan's chest. Suddenly, his body stopped moving, and he was sent flying away by a strange ruler without any hesitation. The next moment, Rek was already hanging on Qin Wei's Fire Spirit Spear. He couldn't die anymore. Xiao Yan, who had relaxed, immediately felt weak in his body. He was the only one who knew how dangerous what had happened just now was. If he had reacted a little slower at that time, he might have been the one lying on the ground now. He was able to kill Rek this time because of luck. Although his soul was only at the mid-true monarch stage, it had been tempered by the prestige power spell for a long time. As for an ordinary emperor, if it wasn't for alchemists, the first time his soul was strengthened was when he broke through to the sovereign realm from the monarch spirit. With Rek's peak of monarch spirit strength, his soul power was probably only at the early true monarch stage. This was also the reason why Xiao Yan was able to succeed. When Lien Yunhai recovered from his shock, he still found it hard to believe. When he saw Rek's corpse being thrown to the ground, his head still felt a little dizzy. After a long time, he sighed and said, "Little friend Xiao Yan, you are really not an ordinary person." The current Lien Yunhai. He had already deeply believed that this young man was a disciple of some big family who had come to Forest Domain to train. Otherwise, he would never believe that a puny sovereign master could kill a peak of monarch spirit warrior indirectly. Even he wouldn't dare to confront Rek, who was going all out. Qin Wei put away the fire spirit spear and looked at the blue flame ruler in Xiaoyan's hand. He was also shocked in his heart. If he hadn't seen wrongly just now, when it was about to hit Rek, a flame appeared on the ruler. It wasn't a virtual flame formed by Origin Monarch Key, but a real flame. This ability, in his knowledge and experience, it was as if ordinary spirit weapons didn't have this ability. Qin Fei, what kind of monstrous genius did you bring back? He didn't know whether to feel happy or helpless in his heart. Initially, he thought that this young man only had extraordinary strength. But now, it seemed like he couldn't be judged by common sense. At this moment, even Yunya and Qin Fei had run over. The scene just now had also grabbed their hearts. When they saw Xiao Yan send Lake flying, they were dumbfounded. It took them a long time to react, and they hurriedly ran over. When he saw Xiao Yan's weakness, Lien Yunhai waved his hand. Qian Lai seemed to have been injected with stimulants as he excitedly ordered the evacuation of the city guards' residents to clean up the Lei prefecture. "Someone, take the storage ring from Rek's hand. I think this old man has already taken all of the Lei family's properties. After that, he will clean up the Lei family completely. It's time for Rek to pay the other 1 million Xiao Yans and 1 mid-grade monarch spell that he owes Xiao Yan." After saying that, Lien Yunhai waved his hand. The city guards had been driving the carriage a long time ago. Qin Fei helped the weakened Xiao Yan to get into the carriage. After that, under the watch of countless onlookers, the carriage sped towards the city lord's mansion. Chapter end. Hi guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.